Well, I sat down today and I started to think about what I wanted to say to all of you. And I thought about what you expect from a township committee person. You expect them to be responsible. You expect them to be ethical, accountable, and most of all, honest. I looked up the definition of responsible and it says, implies holding a specific office, duty, or trust. Well, that trust has been violated in Middletown. And we all found it out at the last meeting and in the papers recently when it was announced that the Cultural Arts Center, formerly known as the Banfield site, has toxic contamination problems. There were underground diesel tanks located at the time of purchase, and the township has failed to properly remediate any harmful environmental or safety factors. You call that being responsible? I don't. If you look up for ethical conduct, it involves expressing moral approval or disapproval. Well, somebody's ethical compass is a little off, because if you have a contaminated site and you're responsible to the people of Middletown, don't you owe it to them to disclose that to them? You're talking about their money, the taxes that they pay, that's what's going to underwrite any remediation project. And it's just frightening to think of what we might expect with not only that site, but right behind you here is a toxic site, and that will have to be addressed. Being accountable or answerable suggests one having a moral or legal obligation and authority charged with oversight. Well, that's what our committee had. They had the responsibility to provide oversight. They had a moral obligation to tell us what was going on. They've known this for 10 years. Let me say that again. They've known this for 10 years. And that information did not come out until one Democratic committeeman, Sean Burns, brought it up to the public. I can't believe someone could be so irresponsible, a group could be so irresponsible as to failing to disclose that to the public, people that go in and out of the Cultural Arts Center, people that go around here. We literally don't know the extent of these problems and therefore don't know the extent of the cost. Who's going to pick up the tab? Deep into those pockets, because guess what? It's you and me. We're going to have to pay for whatever has happened, whatever they've failed to disclose. Well, if you didn't watch the stock market like I did today, you know the economy is in a tailspin. Jobs are tough. The fact is that foreclosures are on the rise. As we've been walking, we found 7 foreclosures on one street. This is not the time to find out that we might be responsible for millions of dollars worth of remediation. We're over $85 million in debt. We owe $52 million in deferred school taxes. That makes one thing perfectly clear to me. The problems of the past cannot be solved by those that created them. The definition for change is to transform, give a different position, course, or direction to a community. Well, Middletown cannot afford more of the same, and it is time for real change. It's time to create transparency in government so that you would all know what's happening in your own backyard. That has to happen. It's time to cut spending, limit borrowing, and cap our legal and professional costs. It is time for honesty from our public officials. I am so tired, and I have met so many people that are so tired of candidates making promises to get elected and then forgetting them completely. Actually, I'll quote Mrs. Brightfield on it in her speech in reorganization. It is easy for some people to make empty promises at election time. Well, these were her promises. Keep taxes low. Put Middletown first. Put taxpayers first. Preserve open space. Reduce spending. Reform government. I don't know about you. Taxes have gone up 16%. Putting Middletown first. If Middletown were truly put first, we would know what was going on, and we would have known it 3 years ago. Putting taxpayers first, it's the taxpayers that have to pick up the bill. Informing taxpayers is a basic responsibility of being a committee person. Her record really speaks louder than her words. I'm going to close with saying I really don't believe that Middletown can afford more of what we've seen here. The situation is too dire. The economy, jobs, it's getting tougher and tougher for our family to make it here in Middletown. It's time for a change, a real change, one that transforms this government and sends it into a new direction. And one of the things I hope to do, along with my running mate, Jim Grenovich, is provide that change. Thank you for coming.